It's time for Tony B's review of the week's news. A satirical and commonsensical look at this week's political shenanigans. Common sense. We'll be lucky if we find any. Yes, folks, here we go. Yet another week in UK politics where common sense and public perception clearly don't matter. Firstly, we had Partygate. It hasn't gone away, you know. Boris the clown, eh? Yes. It was a business meeting with pizza, wine and karaoke. Just like all our business meetings, folks. Well, the police have issued the first of the fines. 20 have been issued. Now, we don't know to whom yet, because obviously that is a state secret. But what we do know is one of the fixed penalties was issued to Helen McNamara. Now, like me, maybe you haven't heard of Helen McNamara before, but she has a very key and important role at number 10. Her role at number 10 was, and are you ready for this? Okay, I kid you not, this is true. She was head of ethics. I know, it's a brilliant joke and made even better because it's true. Her full title, are you ready for this, was the Director General of Propriety and Ethics. Yes, so she was allowing the parties to go ahead while the rest of the country was locked down, unable to see our relatives, and they party on. We should have a new portfolio for her, and it should be the Director General of Complete and Utter Irony. She was responsible not only for propriety and ethics, I choke on those words, but she was also responsible for arranging pizza and karaoke, which witnesses have said, and I quote, turned simple leaving drinks into a raucous party. And still they are asking people if they remember being at a party, and still most are saying, I can't remember what I was doing a year ago. Well, how the feck can you not remember what you were doing a year ago? We were in lockdown. You should have been at feckin' home. If you were at a party, it would have been a unique feckin' memorable event a year ago. Unless, of course, there was, as it seems, that many parties at number 10, you can't remember which ones you actually attended. It makes number 10 sound like a COVID lockdown Club 18 to 30 hotel, for feck's sake. And still, we don't know if Boris the clown has received a fixed penalty. And my favourite quote of the week was from Dominic Raab. It just gets better, you know. I just need to put pen to paper. These write themselves. Dominic Raab, my favourite quote of the week was, when he was asked on the matter, he said, and I quote, "The Prime Minister has been as honest as he could be." Yeah. Speechless. The Prime Minister has been as honest as he could be. Has he, by feck? He has not been as honest as he could be. Then, the other thing that has been dominating the news this week is once again our totally out-of-touch Chancellor of the Exchequer, as I call him, Mr. Pishy Rishi Sunak, yet again proving he is totally out of touch with public perception of his actions. New phrase of the week is non-dom. Non-dom. Well, I'd never heard that before, but it is a tax loophole for the wealthy. Now, when I hear non-dom, my mind conjures up a sexual connotation to this. I know it says a lot about my mind, eh? A non-dom wife. Does that mean she is submissive and Pishy Rishi is the dominant one? Go on, now you're imagining our Chancellor of the Exchequer in a pair of leather briefs and a gimp mask. Makes you wonder what he has in that little red government briefcase. It's probably full of whips, handcuffs and feathers to tickle us with. No wonder he has such a supercilious grin when he holds the case aloft outside number 11 Downing Street. As if his actions aren't punishing the country enough, he now wants to whip and spank us. Gladly, I am wrong. And non-dom means his wife claims to be a non-domicile for tax purposes. Over 70% of her multi-million pound earnings she doesn't pay tax on in the UK. She pays tax on approximately 30% of her multi-million pound income, which she claims is earned in the UK. Which, I have to stress, is totally legal, by the way, even if immoral. So, the Chancellor of the Fecker's wife is avoiding the tax increases her husband is imposing on the rest of us. Now, she claims she doesn't live in the UK, despite being married to a British MP who has served 8 years in Parliament. And to make it worse, she has lived in fecking Downing Street, the party capital of Europe. It's taken over from Ibiza. She's lived in Downing Street for 2 years, but yet she's non-domicile in the UK. What? Anyway, credit where it's due, she has now said she will pay full UK taxes, but only because she was found out. Now, what hasn't had much press this week is the revelation that Pishy Rishi Sunak, he holds an American green card, which he has held for 8 years and has a further 7 years to run, allowing him to work and reside as an American citizen. Now, American law states that you cannot possess a green card and be a member of a foreign government, so it's most likely this green card will be invalid. But we have to ask the question, why does Pishy Rishi want to have the option of living in America? And why does his wife want to keep her Indian citizenship? One can only think they are keeping their options open. Should Rishi Pishy completely screw up this country, then they can always move and leave us. On a more serious note, the situation in Ukraine seems to be getting worse and worse, with the revelation of more and more horrendous war crimes. As Europe opens their doors to support the millions of refugees, still the UK embarrassingly and cringe-worthingly lags well behind. Our process is slow and very complicated. I mean, how embarrassing was the scene at the UK visa application building in France? Contrast to other countries that had clothes, hot meals, toys for children, medical and first aid care, the UK office, manned by 2 persons, only issued forms to be filled in and a packet of Walker's crisps and a bottle of water. Yes, that's right. We had a packet of Walker's crisps and a bottle of water and multiple forms to fill in for all the refugees trying to seek asylum here in the UK. We need to help these people now. And I understand that we want to know and have records for who we are letting in, but let's speed this up. During the pandemic, we set up quarantine hotels within days. So we should do this again for the refugees and provide them secure, comfortable accommodation for these desperate people while we process the paperwork. Okay? Let's get them over here. Let's make them feel welcome. Let's give them a warm bed to lie in while we dilly-dally with their paperwork. Let's not leave them homeless on the other side of the English Channel. These people have suffered enough. Let's help them. Let's sort this out. This is the bit of common sense we need in our government today, which is sadly missing. I'll be back next week for another brief review, and hopefully there will be more signs of common sense and less opportunities for satire. I'll not hold my breath, folks. Thanks for listening.
This show has been produced by Clariton FM Limited on behalf of this station. Thank you for tuning in, and please continue to support this station.